بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا زدنا علما. اللهم إنا نسألك الإخلاص والقبول وأن تنفعنا اللهم بما نقول. اللهم أمين وبعد. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the tajweed101 course, simple step-by-step tajweed course that enables you inshallah to learn how to read the Quran properly inshallah and understand its meaning. Welcome, my name is Maghfera and I am an online Quran teacher and you are watching maghfera101, the place to learn and know and understand how to read the Quran properly inshallah. And today inshallah we're going to continue the course that we already started before and we're going to start a new characteristic. At-tikrar and the repetition. At-tikrar, which is the repetition, it's the light shaking of the tongue when pronouncing the letter Ra due to its tight articulation point. As we understood the last lesson that the Ra has a characteristic called deviation or al-inhiraf, and this al-inhiraf or this deviation makes the sound goes from the middle of the tongue and just produce from the tip of the tongue as we just do it like this. So this is the tongue and the part that is touching from the tongue is these two parts while the middle is open and is free. And due to this tighten opening, the tongue may shake a little bit when reading the Ra letter until it adjusts this Ra sound, and this is called the repetition. So the first hitting sound or the first repetition for Ra is called at-takrir or sifat at-takrir or the characteristics of at-takrir. So the repetition, it's the light shaking of the tongue due to pronouncing the Ra letter, and this is due to its tight articulation point. This is not meant that this repetition is to say that like this, so this one is wrong or this way is wrong, okay? So making Ra or making the repetition the first hit of the tip of the tongue as well as the tight shaking of the tongue while reading the this is called the repetition, and it is not a noticeable sound, it's just shaking for the Ra itself. So, when we read letter Ra in this case, we have one of three options. The first one, the tongue is away from the gums. So the sound like ar. So the tongue is away from the gums, and this is wrong because by this, the tip of the tongue is not hitting the gums that fit the proper articulation point of Ra. So this is the first, which is wrong. The second way of reading Ra, which is wrong as well, is lots of repetition, okay? And this is due to closing this part completely, okay? So this will be which is wrong. This is not the way of reading Ra, and we have to take care about it. And this is the note that we are going to explain in the next part, which is the reciter should be careful not to exaggerate on repetition or exaggerate the repetition that leading to the occurrence of more than one Ra. And the third way, which is the right way, it is to read the Ra the same way of the image showing you. So touching these two parts, leaving the middle of the tongue open, allow the sound to go from the sides of the tongue towards the middle of the sound of the tongue, and the sound should running, and the light shaking of the tongue, this is called the repetition, and it is not sound that is right. Okay, I heard some teachers explain this repetition characteristics as the sound of Ra or repeating the sound of Ra, which is wrong. The repetition characteristic is to make the sound of Ra constant or to make the Ra constant. It is the shaking of the Ra, light shaking of Ra, which is non-noticeable due to the tight opening of the tip of the tongue. Okay, so make sure to do just the tip of the tongue open to allow the tip of the tongue to be open and not to allow the sound to be shaked or to be repeated lots of times due to the characteristic of repetition. This is the information that I have for you today, which is about the Ra, repetition of Ra. جزاكم الله خيرا for watching. Catch you the next lesson بإذن الله تعالى. سبحانك اللهم ربنا وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.